All right, so we are live. Tell us a little about yourself while I'm inviting people to join us and getting everything together. Tell us about
Well, I am a psychic
you.
and a Reiki Master teacher.
Okay.
I'm a medium and I do life coaching.
Oh,
I work in the Philadelphia area and I see clients in person, on the phone,
mhm.
and now I'm doing Best Psychic Source. I'm very excited about.
And we are excited to have you on Best Psychic Source. So you said that you are a psychic and a medium, and for our audience that aren't aware that there is a difference, because we use the term psychic, we use the term medium. Can you explain the difference to our audience so that they have some clarity? Because sometimes, your client is looking for a psychic, sometimes they're looking for a medium. You are in both arenas of yourself, and sometimes people are just in your medium side,
Mhm.
some people are just on their psychic side. So, explain to the audience, how you decipher which gift you're going to use and how there is a difference.
Sure. So for me, medium is different, I think, than what a lot of people consider, mostly because I come from a long line of artists. And for me, medium means something a little bit different.
Yes,
um,
for me it does too.
my psychic ability is my capacity to tap into the energies and to receive information about past, present, and future.
Mhm.
My mediumship is my ability to connect with beings who are not in physical form, um,
We
whether they are humans who have passed, or angels, or fairies, or galactic beings who are around everywhere.
Interesting, interesting. My question: do I have any galactic beings hanging out with the Max Angenetta Jones?
Sure. I mean,
Da, 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 da.
most most people who do the work that we do
Mhm.
have a whole host of beings who are in assistance to different levels. And yeah, definitely, you've got what I would call intergalactic guides. I had an interesting conversation the other day about um, beings who are not in a physical form, and how sometimes when you start trying to distinguish between an angel, and a galactic guide and a earth spirit, it can get a little muddy,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is simply the person who's in physicality's interpretation of the energies that they're picking up.
So I have a question, and I'm sure a lot of you do. And if you have a question, if you have anything that you want to be answered by our lovely psychic medium from Best Psychic Source, and we're even going to show you how to get in touch with her. And it's Christmas time, and I'm in the business of giving, me and my business partners. So we're going to give people $20 to sit with you after your interview and go deeper. So that's going to be
Yeah.
fun. So now, have you ever been to a seance or anything like that? And what do you think about
Um, I
that?
have I have not been to a seance per se. I
Hmm.
have participated in what one would call like a ghost hunt. So I've gone into spaces that are active. I have also participated in what you might call home negotiations, where there's an spirit living in a house that is needing to have a better relationship with the people who are in physical form.
Very interesting that you say this. You said needing to have a better relationship.
Yes.
you know how many people are thinking, get them out of here. And I think that you just can't throw people out.
No, no.
Then
And
you have the people who are like, well, I only buy new property because nothing's there. The land was there.
yeah, yeah. Not
So
to
go
mention
with
the
the
things that
spirit.
you buy, and not to mention when you go out, into the world,
Mhm.
some spirit can see you and go, "Ooh, I'm going to follow that person home." I mean, that happens all the time. So, yeah, so it becomes a negotiation. It's not, I think it's important that we understand and have compassion for non-physical entities and understand that they have free will too. And we need to negotiate with them and connect with them and have a communication with them if we're wanting to find peace.
Now, is there ever any time that one can just go and put one out?
Well, sure. I mean, the thing is for instance, my house, I have, what would we say? I've cleared it and I keep it clear. I keep it guarded because I need my peace and I don't want random spirits wandering into my space and interrupting my sleep or my daily activities. So I've set boundaries at my home, but I also create a time and place where entities and spirits can come to me and if they want to reach me. So, I have office hours.
For them. So during your office hours, do you find that you're provided by a large amount of spirits that come in? It's like, whoa, you only have 2 to 3 open, and I'm right now.
No, I must say that, in the past couple years, most of my mediumship work has been on either a personal level
Hmm.
for my own development and growth, or as a addition to healings that I'm doing with people. So I've pretty much created a separate set for my medium work, and so now I don't necessarily work a lot with random energies anymore. I'm trying to stay more focused on attracting people in whichever form that can help grow my personal life, my professional life, and my experience as a medium.
That sounds good. It's always curious to me. You ever go to the Paranormal Channel, and I'm sure they do it for entertainment purpose, a lot of it, and they're in the space and they're saying, "Are you there?" It blows my mind.
Yeah,
If you could really communicate with spirits, you would not be saying, "Hello, can you hear me? I'm trying
right.
to reach you. Is anybody here?" And having these cameramen run out the rooms. You would just go, if they had a real medium, that person would go up in there and be like, this blah, 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 blah. You
Mhm.
be a little bit more authentic.
Well, and I think it's hard though because I did do some spaces with a couple of different mediums where we went in with a large group of people to interact with spirit, and a lot of times in my work, my purpose is to help people find peace, whether that is a physical form or a spirit. So I have the ability to help them release themselves from earth and transition into a more peaceful place, which is usually not what people in that genre want. Because they're usually it is for, to some extent, entertainment purposes.
Yeah,
um,
I figure. But it would be entertaining if people just went in there and did what they had to do. It would be
mhm.
very entertaining to people.
Oh, sure.
But that's just me. I just think that it's not really authentic the way that they do it. That's just bad.
Right. Well, and for me, one of the reasons why I kind of stepped away from that work is because, most of the time, um, like I would feel like it was almost a sideshow, like it was for entertainment. And like, I'm not interested in doing that, like
Yeah.
when I have people come to me for a reading and they're like, You know, tell me what you see. Well, that's not what I do. I'll help you answer a question. I'll help you figure out, you know, the best way forward. I'll help you come to terms with what's happening in your life, or maybe understand where you're going so that you can have peace and health. But that's what my purpose is. My purpose is not to prove to you that I'm a psychic, or to prove to you that I'm able to connect to spirit.
Now, I have a question from someone in the audience. It says,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do, or what do you do when you feel you're being pulled from spirits, like if there are too many around? This is
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie Tapita. She says, what do I do when you feel you're being pulled from spirits, like if there are too many around? So I'm assuming that Stephanie, um,
It's sensitive.
yeah, it's very sensitive, but for some reason it seems like she's being overrun by spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give her a chance to respond to that, to say if she does feel like she's being overrun, or too much is going on, you know. So how do we help her?
Right.
If she's exhausted.
Um, so for me, I have found help with my Reiki practice.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me a lot. But crystals can be amazingly powerful in working with whatever kind of energies. Specifically, garnet is a very protective stone. Um, Also, having an understanding and feeling confident in the fact that you have the right to have autonomy over your space, over your body, over your experience. And you can say, not now, you're bothering me, I feel uncomfortable, you need to leave.
Now she's
And
at the space now that it's overwhelming. So it's almost
Mhm.
like when you are already at a place of completion, like you just can't handle it anymore. So
What?
she's in a place of, and I want to say from the feel of it, it's a little panicky, and it's a little
Yes,
of emotion. So now we have to get her to a place of being grounded. With her
yeah.
state, the state that she's in right now, how do we calm her down? How do we say, and I'm going to say, Stephanie, I'm going to post the information in the feed in a minute. I'm looking at all the questions and everything. But I'm going to say, when we finish this broadcast, I would get a reading. Um,
Hmm.
you know, um, I encourage her to get a reading with you, just to work on this situation, because it is a bit much.
It can be really overwhelming. And a lot of it is because I'm certain that she feels unable to handle
She says she doesn't want to be rude,
it.
and she doesn't want to hurt their feelings.
Okay, but she needs to think about this in terms of, if she's in a bar and a bunch of men come around wanting her attention, she has to be able to say, no, you don't get to put your hands on me. You don't get to, insist on a dance with me just because you're interested in what I have.
So,
So
would you say that this ghosting that she's having is sort of reflecting in her personal life also?
I would say that that she probably has a hard time creating boundaries with all types of people, whether they are in physical form or not. And that's what she really needs to focus on, is feeling her own capacity for autonomy over herself and her life, and to set boundaries, and to understand that it doesn't have to be, F you. It can be, listen, I appreciate that you're interested in me, but I need space to catch my breath. I need time to collect myself. Maybe at another date and time we can have an interaction, but right now I really need you to step back. So you can be polite, but you have to be firm and know that they're spirit. You are spirit and physicality. So you are stronger, and you have the right to have dominion over your experience.
It's bizarre, but we put ourselves in this place where we don't want to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really important that we learn how to do that in all kinds of ways, whether it's with a boss, or, with a love interest, or our family and friends. It's very important.
Now, you said something that was really important a few minutes ago. You said that when people come to you, um, do they need a question when they come to you, or can they come to you without a question? Can
They
they?
can come. They can come to me without a question, but they're going to get more out of their experience with me if there is something specifically that they're looking for.
Yeah, and I asked that because you ever, well, of course you do. Your client sits down,
Hmm.
and your client is like, I'm not going to tell them anything because they don't trust you. They think that
Right.
you're leading them. It is insane. It is
Yeah.
insane because you're spending your hard earned money.
Yes.
So why put yourself through that? So you get your client, they're sitting there and they just want you to tell them what's on their mind. And
Hmm.
it is very peculiar because you can come to me and you want relationship stuff or you want to know about an employee at work, and Spirit could be talking about something totally different.
Right, right. Yeah, the way I tell people is I get a really like a broad snapshot of what's happening. You can think of it as an aerial view. If you help me, I can zero in one particular area of that view and give you more detail. But I mean, all of the information that I receive can be overwhelming, and asking me to pick and choose what's most important to you is not fair for you, if there really is something that you're wanting, you know. And I tend to attract people to me who are interested in what I have to offer specifically. But in some venues, like at fairs and stuff, I find that happens a lot. When I go to a fair, someone plops down their money and says, "Tell me what you see," and I'm like, "I see money, but I don't see a question."
See, I'm a little different. I don't want my clients. I mean, what is the best way to say this? I am caring and I want to know what's on your mind,
Hmm.
but I do not want to hear anything from them until I say what Spirit says. Okay?
Ah, okay.
First. I don't care what it is, but most of the time, 98% of the time, when I finish saying what I have to say,
Yeah.
I say, "Do you have any questions?" And they're like, "No." That's good. And I let them record it too. Please record your session. So
Yeah.
years from now, you still have that recording. You can come in and you can say, "This is
Right. What was it that she said? Yes. I actually, I went to see Mr. D, a very old time psychic down in the city years ago.
he's in heaven now."
Yes, he has transitioned, but I still pull out my notes from the couple times that I went to see him, and I look over them occasionally and I go, "Oh, that's what that was."
Hi, Dana. We have a young lady joining us from Ohio. Guys, I've posted in the feed if you want to have a one-on-one with Serafice after our broadcast. She is going to be online, and
Hmm.
I'm putting the information in the feed now so that you can log on and take advantage of everything. So, so Mr. D, can I ask
Yeah.
something, dear heart?
Yeah.
How in the world did you understand Mr. D? How? He would
um,
like from 0 to 90. And I know you now, Mr. D, because I feel your blue eyes upon us. I love you, love you, love you. And, he was just so,
yeah. Quick, quick, quick. Yeah, and he would go through the whole thing. Yeah. Um, it was very overwhelming.
but I don't think I know I never asked him if I could record, but I remember him in his blue suits and his red
Mhm.
tie,
Mhm.
and let's just say if Mr. D was alive, you would schedule an appointment with him today. You wouldn't see him for 3 months because
That's right.
and you had to send in half your money to hold your space.
Mhm.
And that was hard in this world now because we want instant gratification.
Right.
It's even hard for us. If you say I'm going to give you $20 and you just have to text to this feed, that's hard.
I know, right?
Now the question. I want you to give it to me right now. I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
I want to give you what you need, but
Mhm.
I want it right now.
Well,
Okay?
that's the boundaries we were talking about, right? So we need to be able to have patience and understand each other's boundaries.
But it's like I want it right now. Or why is it that to a lot of people, your life is not important? You shouldn't be charging me for your gift because it's a gift, and you should give it to me for free. And if I look at the people who say that, what have you given?
Right, because we live in a society that is run on money. We have a capitalistic, situation here in this. Actually, most countries of Earth are currently using money to trade valuable goods, and information is a valuable good. And whatever your gift is, whether it's singing or dancing or teaching or hugs or whatever, it's valuable. And so spending the time to hone your gifts and make them more palatable for people, it's a commodity. It's worth something. So this is how, I was actually just having a conversation the other day that I'm so glad that my job is being myself. So I have found a way to
work at the thing you love the most.
Yes, and that I already do. I do already do what I do for my friends and my family, and I have for years. And now I'm just able I've educated myself to the point where I can do it for other people and offer a service. People don't ask their hairdresser to cut their hair for free.
But people will ask you to live their life for free.
Right.
It's different if you are their friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you would talk to them every day.
Right.
Well, other than, my clients, because I encourage my clients to reach out to me, because just because when you're in my office, when I'm coaching you, everything could be hunky-dory.
Right.
The moment you leave me, Chicken Little, the sky is falling. There are people who are like, I need you to help me go give my life, and I'm not going to pay for it. And yes, you have to make a choice of how you want to handle that, but it happens. It's just like,
yeah.
Now, most readers that I know of can't see for themselves, and it's because of, somewhere spirit must know something about us.
Yeah.
But can you see for yourself? And how does that feel when you can? Because I can tell you how it feels for me. There was a time that I couldn't see for myself, but now I can. And let me just tell you something. That is like...
Yeah. So I see for myself, I do, because I have a very, I guess, intimate connection with my guides. So they're talking to me all the time. And I go into meditation all the time, and I check in and I ask questions, and they don't always show me everything. A lot of what I work with them on is trust and belief. And so they'll say, everything's going to be fine with this particular situation. Here's what you need to do. And then you need to just trust that it's going to happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. There you are. That is where we are. And I think that happens because we ask our clients to trust what we say and go out and do it. And sometimes what spirit is telling you is going to happen is not it's not happening right now. Go back and he'll say, no, this is happening. You can go to another spirit sister and they say, no, that's what God said, that's what's happening. And that is the thing. That is very, very tough.
See, for me, across the board, whether it's for me or a friend or a client, I have a hard time with timing. I can give you a general idea of when it feels like it's likely to happen. But a lot of times, spirit will say it's happening soon. And I'm like, okay, well, when you say soon, do you mean 5 years? Do you mean 1 year?
Timing is different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's tough because it's
so different.
Yes, because you're almost speaking different languages. And so you're trying to interpret from them what they're meaning. But I must say that one of the things that really helped me was, using the law of attraction, using my trust and my faith and my guides, and allowing them to prove to me we mean what we say. So allowing the things that,
they do
show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, we're still in this meat,
The meat suit.
sack. Potato sack is like, hey, you might be making a mistake because blah 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 is happening.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what the?
Well, and it's hard because we have to interact in the physical world. So we have all of this information coming to us from, the entertainment industry and society and our well-intentioned friends saying, oh, well, maybe no, and maybe not, and maybe this. And then it's like, no, it's hard to make that bridge.
You have to have really good support in your life.
Yeah. Which I do. I'm really glad I do.
I last Thursday, we were supposed to do our iPad, a podcast, and I couldn't find my keys. Okay. Now I was in the car, and I put them in my handbag. I came in the house and left them in my handbag. I'm all ready to run out the door to meet Michelle at the office to do our podcast. No keys in my pocketbook. In my mind, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're in the car. Maybe I locked them in the car. Okay. I call a locksmith. They're not in the car. But now, in between this time, my spirit sister called me and she said, God told me to call you. I'm like thinking, well, you and God going to have to wait because I need to find my keys. Like, a crazy woman. I hang up on my friend who says she's in another state visiting someone else. And she says, God told me to call you. I go to the car, wait for the locksmith, and lodged into the driver's seat, I see a pendulum that doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Gwen, the girl that just called me, that said God told her to call me. Locksmith comes, open the car. It's not there. I asked the pendulum, where's my keys? Is it in the snow? Is it in the pendulum said, your keys are in the house. I go back in the house, looking around, downstairs only, like a crazy person.
Right.
Spirit said, I told you, your keys were in the bedroom. I'm sitting on the steps thinking they can't be God because I didn't take them upstairs.
Right. Arguing, right?
I go upstairs to my bedroom, and guess what I find?
Your keys.
My car keys. I am beside myself now. I come downstairs. Of course, I got to call Gwen because God told her to call me, right?
Yep.
I am in tears. And not because of the locksmith or any of that, because I just couldn't listen. Because he said, before I called the locksmith, my best friend and everything, he said,
upstairs.
In your bedroom.
Yeah. Right. But we think we know better, right? We're like, oh, no.
I call Gwen. She's all calm and everything. I'm crying. I was like, are you still in Florida? She says, yes. I tell her what happened, and she says, Max, remember, you have that shaman in your house. I'm like, oh, God. The shaman took my keys out of my pocketbook and put them in my room. Okay? And we're in these physical bodies.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, and I know that's how my keys I sat on the steps. I'm thinking, did I walk them up? Gwen's all calm. She says, Max, remember, there's a person in your house. I'm like, oh, damn, that's right. My house. So I get to work, and I'm so glad. My best friend is so glad. And you know her, Kim Beatty.
Yeah.
I get to work. I have this look on my face. I'm like, oh. And she said, what happened? Did the brownie take it? I'm like, no, it was a damn shaman who moved my keys. She just said, remember, you have a spirit.
Yep.
These are things that we, that happen to us that we know are real, but our mind and our friends are just like, no.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
It is. And it's part of the challenge of bridging that gap between the physical and the spirit realm, and being able to work with your ego and your sensibilities and trust.
Now, I have a lady named Karen Walton Davidson. I'm having trouble with getting information for myself, easier with other people. I guess for myself, spirit guides names and simple things, but big answers, no to not too much. Now, from what I can recall, and you tell me and answer her question, that's something you have to earn the right to see for yourself, don't you?
Well, you have to really work at it. Yeah. It's not, it's a skill that takes a lot of time and practice to be able to get to, because you have to be able to set aside your ego and really hone in on what it is that's being said.
I get it. So
Yeah.
how can we help her? I'm going to help her by saying, Karen, when this broadcast is over, please um, go and chat with Serafice.
Yeah.
You money to do that at Best Psychic Source, because my team and I, we love you and we want to say Merry Christmas. We also want to say start the New Year's off right. Okay?
Right.
Get
That's right.
together. Don't make some of your old outdated mistakes. So I'm going to let you
Right.
help her out. What can you say to
Okay.
help her, a little tidbit, just to help her out? Because we can't focus on it, but I am giving you money so you can go in there for $20 and get
Sure.
done.
Well, the key to most of the issues that a person might have with their gifts is meditation. Right? That's always the answer. Meditate, meditate, meditate.
Guilty, 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 guilty.
Right? Right? Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
it's important that you make that time and you say, this is something that is valuable to me. I'm going to set aside time to work on this thing and do it in a very mindful and dedicated way.
now for those of us who could, not that you can't, you don't, but when you don't meditate, could you breathe, do some type of breath work as meditation or chant?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that I tell people all the time, when you are exercising
Mm-hmm.
or you are doing the dishes or vacuuming and you zone out, that's a form of meditation, right? So all it really is focused attention on one thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not letting yourself be distracted by millions of different things. So yes, you can sit and very quietly just follow your breath, count your heartbeats, or, watch a faucet drip. So you don't need to have like special music or to have some, wonderful soothing person leading you through some deep spiritual experience. You can just spend time in your being, in this moment, just connected to the now.
So meditation, because Karen's more on the medium side, because I know her, I've seen her, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask this question. Um, if Karen decides to start meditating, no particular time, just dedication and due diligence to meditation, will it stimulate her psychic side or her medium side or both?
Yes.
So Karen, there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things like, people get into debates over whether cardio is better than weight training or, yoga is better than Pilates. If you're focused on yourself and you're building your health and you're dedicating yourself to a practice, that's all you really need to start with. And,
Yeah,
and the minutiae, the details are less important.
I feel just do something.
That's right.
I mean, at the end of the day, even if it's skipping around, like
Mm.
do something. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's online. It says, good lesson. I'm going through it. Set aside let me see, set aside from something. I believe my strengths, and she believes in her strengths and she meditates more. Good. Very good. That's one of the things I was saying to myself on my way in this morning. I'm like, you need to meditate more. What are you doing?
That's right. That's right.
What are you doing? Get that meditation in, girl.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things that I like to do is I get Epsom salts and I take a hot Epsom salt bath with some, wooey music on and candlelight, and I just breathe for 20 minutes. So I'm relaxing my body. I'm, benefiting my muscles and healing my mind at the same time.
Yeah, it doesn't take that much to connect with spirit. So if anyone out there would like, if I'm going to pick one lucky person to get a small, tiny read, if you would like a small read this morning with our psychic, please share the feed and you will be next. Well, I hit her up. So I am going to say, I hate asking questions, Serafice, okay? But I'm going to go first. Let me see. What can I say? Because I'm not the easiest person on the planet. Let me see. Oh, what do I need to know that's most important to me? I mean, what am I looking? That's all.
That what are you lacking? Is that what you just said?
Or what? Well, no, I'll say what's coming up for me in the next week. Let's go a week. Shit. No, it's like that's enough. A week. Just tell me from now, from the solstice to next week this time. What's going on?
Well, it's interesting. This morning when I was making my coffee and I was half asleep and I was making my coffee and I was thinking to myself, what do I need to tell Max? Because I know Max is going to ask. What do I need to tell her? And the message that came through to me was all about discernment. And it was about, which is interesting because the conversation earlier was about boundaries. So it's important to focus on quality over quantity and recognize that saying no and creating boundaries benefits everyone. And you need to feel more comfortable doing it.
I know exactly what you said. Well, and I'll say this, and I'll just, give it surface because you'll know what I'm talking about. I was talking to a reader, and she said to me, I know what your choice is going to be about a certain situation. I'm like, do you? And she says, well, yes, because this can take care of you. And anybody who knows me knows that I don't need to be taken care of. And even though, I was teaching my client how to read, I understand because sometimes we leave spirit and we go into our own personal wants and needs. We try, it's like this isn't a life coaching session. This is you, spirit, and the client. Please get back into spirit. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Is quality is much better than quantity, because that was the thing we were talking about. It's like you have to look at, when you're deciding on what you're going to do in life, is the quality of that life, not what thing can provide to you.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, we get stuck in this place where we're looking at what a person can give us. I don't give me anything but your time, your space, and care. So as readers, sometimes we got to be really careful to make sure you stay in spirit. What did spirit say? Not Maxx and And I always clear and say to them, this is what Maxx would do, but this is not what God is telling you.
I have had the same situation, where I'm like, okay, the cards are saying this, but I think this.
I'm clear. My friend Ian said to me, he said, now, I know you have a lot of friends that are psychics. He said, but I'm not going to tell you what I want to tell you. I'm going to tell you what God said. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. But something that I think is important to remember is that spirit is spirit. And spirit doesn't always necessarily understand what it is that physical beings go through. So sometimes there is a point where it is important that Max's perspective comes through, because Maxx understands what it's like to be in a physical body in this world right now. So there is a balance there, right?
But Maxx also understands that there's free will and destiny. And free will, to me, free will wipe you out sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It takes you away from your destiny, your divine. And sometimes when you're trying to get to your destiny, it may not be easy based on you.
Yeah.
So that's what I've learned about being in this body. Sometimes you have to look at something from a different angle. And
Hmm.
like you said earlier, this is what Spirit said. So this is where we are. But if you ask me about it, it's comical because
Yeah.
I can tell you Max's point of view and
Yeah.
Spirit's point of view. Okay, because my higher self, my non-physical self, I can hear the difference between us in my
Yes.
head. And
Yes.
she's saying, you said you was going to do this. And
Yeah.
I told you I'm going to do it, but I'm talking shit because that's just the way it is. You're just like, especially like, you know, you're in this body, you're in this
Yeah.
meat sack. And the meat sack is saying, I didn't take the keys upstairs. Who
Hmm.
took the keys upstairs? Okay? It's like,
Yep. Yep.
you know,
Got to
my
get out of
higher
your own
self was
way.
like, it was the shaman.
Mm. Hmm.
And even with Gwen calling me saying, God told me to call you, I'm still like,
And then you found her pendulum out in the car. That's awesome.
yes. And still, I must have a team of angels watching over me with my.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you've got a lot of people working for you. You got a whole
That's like
army.
got a whole office because I know there's times when I try to drag myself away from something that Spirit said, no, stay right here,
Yeah.
you know, and they were like, no, you're going to stay here. Because I remember I'm very thankful for you during the days of Manifest Your Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm truly thankful for those days because you were very supportive.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for you for Best Psychic Fair because you've always been very supportive.
Yeah.
You know, you were one of the first people to sign up, like, I'm signing up.
Yes.
And I'm very thankful for Best Psychic Source. You're just like, I'm in.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are
So
welcome.
we have questions in the feed, but I'm going to post again um, for you, you know, the money so that people can
Hmm.
see you and get a reading. And my spirit brother, John Red Eagle, is out there and he's reminding me to be kind to shamans, which I am. I'm very,
Yeah.
but we are going to have a forum coming up soon. And it is going to be the male psychics and the female psychics, you know.
I
And
think that's awesome. I
the
love
male
that
psychics
idea.
said that they were going to spank us. I'm like, okay, all right. So that's why I asked you if you were going to come in. So when I set the date for 2018, I'll have you in the office and
Yeah.
we'll see who gets spanked.
I am not that far away. That's actually something that I really like, is getting psychics together or getting intuitives together because, I mean, a lot of what we do is interpretation,
Hmm.
right? Because spirit speaks another language. So spirit says red truck, and one person thinks of a pickup truck, and one person thinks of a fire truck, and another person sees the word red truck in red, right? So it's like, and having that ability to come together and go, oh, well, I hear it like this and I hear it like this. And that is always really fascinating to me, being able to connect with other people who are hearing the same things and listening to their perspectives on what it is they're hearing.
Or yes, or interpretation.
Right.
Because I, when I'm with Michelle, there's times where I'm in her circle so I can hear
Mm-hmm.
as she gets it or when she gets it. Or when my clients get it, I'm like, you have it, just say it. But you know, there's this very special book out there, and it says, when two or more like minds are gathered together,
Yeah,
you know, it raises the consciousness.
that's right.
You know? So to have a lot of psychics together, even though for us it's fun, the girls against the boys, basically, you know, what it boils down to is when like minds come together, the power and the energy and what we can manifest and create.
That's right. Awesome.